July 21st, on this day, in 356 BC, Herostratus set fire to the Temple of Artemis at Ephesus, one of the seven wonders of the world, in an act of arson intended to achieve notoriety. In 365, a powerful earthquake struck near the island of Crete, causing a catastrophic tsunami that devastated cities around the eastern Mediterranean, including Alexandria. In 1403, King Henry IV of England defeated the Percy family rebellion at the Battle of Shrewsbury, securing his grip on the English throne. In 1613, Michael Romanov was crowned Tsar of Russia, founding the Romanov dynasty, which would rule Russia for over 3 centuries. In 1667, the Peace of Breda was signed, ending the Second Anglo-Dutch War and leading to the transfer of Dutch-held New Amsterdam to English control, where it was renamed New York. In 1711, Russia and Turkey signed the Treaty of the Pruth, which ended the year-long Russo-Turkish War. In 1718, the Treaty of Passarowitz was signed by Austria, Venice, and the Ottoman Empire, reshaping control over territories in the Balkans. In 1773, Pope Clement XIV abolished the Jesuit order, resulting in the suppression of Jesuit activities across Catholic Europe. In 1774, the Treaty of Küçük-Kaynarca was signed, bringing an end to the Russo-Turkish War of 1768 to 1774 and granting territorial gains to Russia. In 1798, Napoleon Bonaparte defeated the Mameluke warriors at the Battle of the Pyramids, establishing French control over much of Egypt. In 1861, the First Battle of Bull Run, known as the First Battle of Manassas in the South, became the first major land battle of the United States Civil War. Fought near Manassas, Virginia, it ended with a decisive Confederate victory. In 1865, Wild Bill Hickok killed Dave Tutt in Springfield, Missouri, in what is often regarded as the first formal quick-draw duel of the American Old West. In 1871, New Zealand suffragette Kate Shepherd married merchant Walter Allen Shepherd in Christchurch, marking a personal milestone for one of New Zealand's most influential activists. In 1873, the James Gang, led by Jesse James, robbed a train in Adair, Iowa, exemplifying the period's rise in outlaw activity following the American Civil War. In 1896, Mary Church Terrell founded the National Association of Colored Women in Washington, D.C., promoting the rights and welfare of African American women. In 1904, after 13 years of construction, the 4,607-mile Trans-Siberian Railway was completed, connecting Moscow with Russia's Far East and transforming transportation across Eurasia. In 1906, French captain Alfred Dreyfus was officially vindicated of his earlier conviction for spying for Germany, ending one of France's most notorious miscarriages of justice. In 1919, the British House of Lords ratified the Treaty of Versailles, formally ending Britain's involvement in World War I. In 1925, Tennessee high school teacher John T. Scopes was found guilty of teaching evolution in the famous Scopes monkey trial, receiving a fine of $100 and sparking national debate over science and religion in education. In 1941, the French government accepted Japan's demand for military control over Indochina, marking a significant expansion of Japanese influence during World War II. In 1943, the musical film Stormy Weather premiered in the United States, featuring performances by Bill Robinson, Lena Horne, and Fats Waller, and is remembered for its impact on African American representation in Hollywood. In 1944, United States Army and Marine forces landed on Guam in the Marianas, beginning the campaign to liberate the island from Japanese occupation during World War II. In 1954, the Geneva Accords were signed, dividing French colonial territories in Indochina into separate countries: North Vietnam, South Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos, marking the end of French colonial rule in the region. In 1960, Sirimavo Bandaranaike became the world's first woman prime minister when she took office in Ceylon, later known as Sri Lanka. In 1961, astronaut Virgil Ivan Gus Grissom became the second American to travel into space as part of NASA's Project Mercury. In 1967, Albert John Luthuli, president of the African National Congress and the first African recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize, died under controversial circumstances after reportedly being struck by a train. In 1969, American astronaut Neil Armstrong became the first person to set foot on the moon as part of the Apollo 11 mission, famously declaring, "That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind." In 1970, the Aswan High Dam officially opened in Egypt, allowing for the control of the Nile River's annual flooding and providing a major boost for Egyptian agriculture and development. In 1977, the Libyan-Egyptian War erupted as Libyan forces attacked Egyptian cities. The conflict lasted just 2 days before a ceasefire was declared. In 1980, Mary Eugenia Charles was elected Prime Minister of Dominica, becoming the country's first woman leader and the first elected female head of state in the Americas. In 1983, the lowest temperature ever recorded on Earth was measured at Vostok Station, Antarctica, reaching -128.6 degrees Fahrenheit, or -89.2 degrees Celsius. In 1987, the American rock band Guns N' Roses released their debut album, Appetite for Destruction, which eventually sold over 17 million copies and became a landmark in music history. In 1996, The Daily Show, a late-night satirical news program hosted by Craig Kilborn, premiered on Comedy Central in the United States, laying the foundation for its lasting cultural impact. In 2002, German Ferrari driver Michael Schumacher clinched his fifth Formula One World Drivers' Championship with victory at the French Grand Prix, setting a record with 6 races remaining in the season. In 2007, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, the final book in J.K. Rowling's famous fantasy series, was released, marking the end of the global literary phenomenon. In 2011, the United States Space Shuttle program concluded as the orbiter Atlantis completed its final landing at NASA's John F. Kennedy Space Center in Florida, ending an era of human spaceflight after 135 missions. In 2024, United States President Joe Biden announced that he was ending his campaign for re-election, following a nationally televised debate with Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. He became the first sitting president since Lyndon B. Johnson in 1968 to withdraw from the race and endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris.
Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's events.